So let's talk about culture and brands, because this is a recurring theme for us. So we can talk about a few of them together, but I think the Quentin Tarantino and the Matrix probably make sense to talk about together, both film oriented. Um, let's start with the Matrix. So 100,000 items. It wasn't clear to me that they're going to be characters. I think they are going to be characters that are going to be from the show that we'll recognize. I think there's going to be some of those, but it appears there's going to be other characters who weren't in the show, or or didn't have like a name or a full character profile, because there's this gamification element that you can take the blue pill or the red pill, and if you take the red pill, you're part of the resistance. You take the blue pill, you're living high in the hog in the Matrix, which is lifestyle. What do you think about this? 100,000 items. I think people will snatch them up. It's a lot of them, but I think they'll snatch them up.
It is a lot. And I think, it could be, I know there's the new movie coming out. So
it's going to come out contemporaneously with the movie.
Yeah. So this could bring a lot of, and I was sort of, oh, cool, new Matrix movie. And then I saw the trailer. I actually really dug the trailer. It was a total trip, I thought.
Have you seen the breakdown on it?
No, I haven't.
So one of the theories is that Keanu Reeves was an actor, and the Matrix was a movie he was in. And it was basically, but it's about some sort of reality in the time that he lives. And so then it's like back to the Matrix, and it's like he's doing this thing over. And like, that's one of the theories. There's several theories about that trailer about what it actually means, because he's clearly not Neo when he's talking to it's like an agent he's talking to.
Yeah.
But it could be that he went through the whole thing and then he became a star, and then, then he had an agent. It's like,
they did a fantastic job with the previous, the original trilogy of doing, like, at that time, those big talk of this sort of transmedia stuff where you continue a story from one medium to another. And they had a game that came out at that time that seamlessly weaved part of the storyline into a game in a really well done way from a narrative perspective. So I'm excited.
Not from a visual rendering perspective.
Yeah, it was visual. Yeah, it was an all right at the time. It looked good, but now you play that game and be like, meh. But yeah, it was a neat. I think they're just very thoughtful about the way that they consider story they sort of go all in, even if you don't like some of the stuff they've done. They kind of like do it to the limit of
how amazing though. Like, so we're on the precipice of the metaverse. We're in the metaverse, depending on where you are. But it's like, obviously there's a big change going on. I think people recognize that. I'm not sure people know where it's going, and the ones who profess to know where they're going are probably wrong.
Yes.
But how amazing that there's a new Matrix coming out. It's like perfect timing. And I think
so cool.
This project was in the works before the moment happened, right? Before the moment that we've had over the last 12 months of really manifesting something different in terms of digital experiences.
Yeah. And there's just I think there's so many cool things they could end up doing with this NFT that could be really fun in terms of giving you access to sites or augmented reality games or some other kind of deeper part of the story.
Okay, so my prediction is they're going to drop the ball. They're going to put it out there. It's going to get a little bit of activity for a little while, unless they have a big game company, like they found a big game company to support it, or they have one take it over. It's going to totally be dropped. That doesn't mean it won't be valuable, because I think there's such affinity for that movie. And it's just so perfect for the times we live in that, but the way movies work, they're a project. When the project's over, there's no custodian to take care of things.
Yeah. And I think it will depend in part on who's doing. There's that big thing that was happening in the early 2000s with augmented reality games. And there was these companies that would do these augmented reality projects, and they were fantastic. But by their nature, they were so cryptic and elusive that they'd never really reached a super wide audience. And it often felt like the movie was just an excuse to get budget to create a really neat game.
Yeah.
So I wonder about this. Who's doing the NFT? Like how the folks that are doing that, how vested are they in the space and the success of it? And can the yeah, we'll
I think
see.
that's a risk. So, but okay, so now we have a movie that's basically it's aligned with what we're doing. But more importantly, what they're doing with NFTs is they're actually making a new experience out of it. That's going to align with the movie in some way, and you could actually just see how they extend the storytelling, and then the owners of the NFTs become part of the story. A lot of these things would be really amazing. Then we have Quentin Tarantino, who is taking 7 Pulp Fiction scenes, turning them into NFTs, but he's augmenting them. He's doing director's notes. There's some commentary added into them. And I didn't see how many they're going to be available. I know there's 7 of them, but I don't know if he's going to make what number.
Multi editions. Yeah.
But it's, I'm sure there's going to be more than one of each, right? Because you'll be able to maximize value that way. But in this case, what he's doing is he's not creating a new experience, really. He's creating a collectible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like I think this is closer to the art thing, right? There's some quote from him. He was talking about like the original script and how he would never sell it and how he wouldn't even want to put it in a museum. It's something he wants to keep, but being able to take some of those types of elements and share them with the world would be really neat. So other people could see it and experience it while he still is able to keep the physical original.
Right.
So I think it's a collectible. I've been hearing a lot about this film thing. I mean, there's some here, but I have some other things I've been hearing about. It's funny that it resonates so much with the collectibles idea resonates a lot with filmmakers, it seems. I guess it's not funny. It makes sense. But films are sort of an art form that's non-tangible. You don't really have anything you can take from it except like, whatever, a prop from the film or a photo or something like that.
Well, a film is really a curated experience.
Mm-hmm.
And we see people like expanding it, by doing director's notes, director's cuts, commentary. Maybe you get a Disneyland ride out of it, but very few of the films actually turn into these ideas of experiences. There's no concept of adding utility.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there is. Maybe someone could tell us that there is something that's been done like this. So it's very different. It's this is the difference between like I look at the Matrix like a PFP project, and Quentin Tarantino's project more like something you find in art blocks, or actually probably Vive would be a better example.
Yeah.
Pure collectible, cool to have. If you're a fan of that, you want it. Just like people want a Star Wars action figure or a Pokemon card or a comic book or the first Tesla. But that's what it strikes me that like that's these two are perfect examples of different ways to use NFTs.
Totally. Yeah. But the fact that, and also, David Lynch is doing it. He's doing a project with Interpol, and Wong Kar-wai is doing it. Those are 3 auteur directors that those feel different. The Matrix is a borderline to me. I think they're sort of renowned directors, but they're also, those movies make a lot of money. And I think there's an expectation that that's going to happen. So it's hard to know how involved they'll be versus it's just a studio kind of money grab because NFTs are popular right now. It feels like those other folks are trying to do it from another place where they're sort of elevating their craft into a collectible or a piece of art or something. But we'll see. We'll see how people perceive it and what happens. I think you're right that in Tarantino's case, it'll be fans of his. Wong Kar-wai and Lynch, I'm not sure. Those seems like I could see Wong Kar-wai stuff going like Sotheby's or Christie's or something, auctioning one of his off because he's a pretty. I think he definitely fits into that. A different class of filmmaker. Not to say he's better than any of the others. I think people just perceive his films as art films in a lot of ways.